Hello, as you've heard, my name's Tom McRae. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm here to break up the talking with a bit of music, to ease you into the second half of the day. I'm going to play 3 of my songs if I can fit it in. I'm also going to talk a little bit about my 7 fundamental truths about songwriting. It could have been 127, but I'm going to try and fit 7 in. And I'm also going to try and lighten and lift the mood with my songs of misery, despair, and ultimately death. 14 minutes to go. Sky black with rain, weekend away. I'm standing at your door. I'll call your name and call again. You'd left some time before. And I've been thrown lately, and I don't know why I feel so old lately. Lately's all I know. Lately's all I know. I drove for miles, my eyes on fire, not knowing how to say I'm caught in my head, details left unsaid. Finding you that way. And I've been thrown lately, and I don't know why I feel so old lately. Lately's all I know. Lately's all I know. Sky white with snow, day trip then home. Borrowed suit, borrowed shoes. Life goes on, it's true, but lately I miss you. And lately's all I know. Lately's all I know. Thank you. So, as I said, I'm here to lighten the mood. I'm a singer-songwriter. What that means is for the last 20 years, I've made a living writing songs, predominantly for myself, mostly about misery, despair, and death. But I've also written for other artists. I've written for X Factor winners and X Factor losers. I've written for rock legends. I've written for people on their way up and people on their way down. Don't ask me which I am. I've also written for film and TV. I've had my music used, unsurprisingly, in bleak Norwegian indie movies. I've also written for kids' TV shows in Belgium. I've had my music used to sell you everything from perfumes to cars and the other year I just wrote a song for a mattress advert, of which I am especially proud. And I have one stated ambition, whoever I'm working with, if it's for me or another artist, is I'm trying to write a song, I'm trying to find an ache, I'm trying to find a moment, I'm trying to, in 3.5 minutes, break your heart and put it back together again. That's what I'm aiming for. Sometimes you end up selling mattresses. But I'm also going to quickly try and fit in as many of my principles of songwriting, my fundamental truths of songwriting. The first fundamental truth of songwriting is that songwriting is really easy. There are days when the time it takes you to sing a song can be the time it takes you to write that song. Those are the good days. Those are the days when this completely fully formed thing is handed to you as if by the angels, and it feels like you had nothing to do with it, and you can't claim any ownership or authorship of that song. But it doesn't stop you doing that, because obviously your name needs to be on the royalty check, so you say, yes, I wrote that song. Those are the good days. So the fundamental first truth of songwriting is it's really easy. Second fundamental truth about songwriting, it's really hard. There are days when you're working with other people and it feels like you're climbing up Mount Everest, and instead of having oxygen tanks strapped to your back, you've got 2 very average wannabe starlets. Those are the hard days. But there are rewards in those hard days as much as the easy days, as long as you finish. Because that's the third fundamental truth of songwriting, is you have to finish. It's the same with any creative endeavor, anything you're making. You have to finish it. Because if you don't finish it, it forever stays in your imagination in a state of flux. And it's all full of coiled potential, this song that no one's yet heard. It could be the song that feeds the world, that ends all wars, that makes mankind finally love and appreciate each other. It could equally be a song that sells mattresses. But unless you finish it, you won't know. And the first rule I have with anyone who comes into the studio with me is we finish a song. If it's for me, if it's for you, we finish that song. Sometimes I'll get 3 artists in a day. You get 2 hours with them. You finish the song, because until you finish that song, it's always here, just floating in a state of flux. And if you don't finish, you will never learn, and you'll never be able to move on from that song. I'm going to try and fit in another one now. This is about being scared about growing old and dying and losing your loved one. I've exchanged every cell in my body, turned into someone new, but I still see through the same eyes. When I close them, I see you. There's nothing that don't ache in the morning, except for the parts that are numb. You're an injury I'm gonna carry, dear, for the long run. So let me grow old with you. Let me grow old with you. Sleep and miss the border, slipping into grey, of being angry and sad and fearful, and I'm tired of living that way. And I've made bad decisions sober, worse ones when I'm drunk. Thing about decisions, dear, is one good one's enough. So let me grow old with you. Let me grow old with you. From now on, we draw lots, dear. What the lines in our hands will decide. You hold out for a sunset, and I'll Dodge the lightning strikes. Dodge the lightning strikes. So, thank you. Moving swiftly on. A song about misery, death, and despair. The next fundamental rule of songwriting is that all songwriters are murderers. You can tell by looking at me. The thing about being a murderer is you have to kill all the other potential songs in order to finish one. When you write a song, any creative endeavor, it carries with it all the ghosts of all the other things it could be, but you have to make a decision and you have to finish that song. And that means killing all the other fantastic permutations. You have to make a decision and nail your colors to the mast. And it's scary, and that's why when you perform, you sometimes have a haunted look, because you're remembering all the other ghosts of the song that one could have been. Quickly moving on to the next fundamental truth of songwriting: taste, experience, and craft. All those things you've gathered over the years, taste, experience, and craft, they are your fundamental enemy when it comes to songwriting. They are the things that will sit on your shoulder and tell you, don't start the song. You can never be Joni Mitchell or Bob Dylan, any of your heroes. Why bother? Why start? Taste, craft, and experience, your worst enemies. The next fundamental truth about songwriting: taste, craft, and experience are your best friends. When you've started a song, when you've had the courage to dive in, make a fool of yourself, and feel vulnerable, when you've got that first ache of an idea, taste, craft, and experience will be the midwives that hold your hand through the process and help you deliver that song into the world. And it might not be the best song in the world that ends all wars, feeds the starving, makes people love each other. It might be a song that just sells mattresses. But you need your taste and craft experience to get through. They are both simultaneously your worst enemy and your best friend. I'm going to try and fit in one last song. In the photograph, I still see the spark, long gone now, an echo of fire. It's time to face the fact there's no second act. We're down with the dead now, forgotten and cold. But while I'm still captain of this sinking ship, we're gonna go down, boys, with a song on our lips. Yeah, we're hoping against hope. Yeah, we're hoping against hope. Which brings me to the final fundamental truth about songwriting. You have to start the process with hope. You have to carry on the process with hope. You have to finish the song thinking that might not change the world, but it might sell a few mattresses. But you might get lucky, and it might change the world. But without hope, you'll never start. Without hope, you'll never finish. Even Paul McCartney wakes up thinking, today's the day I write a song better than yesterday. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. You've got 20 seconds to help me out. Sing this. It's gonna be okay. It's easy. It's gonna be okay. Don't make me look a fool. It's gonna be okay. It really is. It's gonna be okay. Take it. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Last time. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Thank you.